Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Alex with the WP Creators Club, and I just want to do a quick video to show you how to make or how to turn the native Divi Blurb modules into these kind of Google review looking blocks that you can put on your website. And I think they look really professional. I think they look pretty slick and modern. It's easy to do, and I think it just adds a little something to the website. It's kind of a nice way to display your review instead of using the testimonial block. I like to use this blurb block, but you could probably do this with the testimonial block too if you want. So let's just go ahead and jump over into our visual builder, and I'm going to create a new row here, and we're just going to recreate these blocks up here from scratch so you can see how I do it. So I'm going to add a new blurb module, and we'll go ahead in the titles where we're going to put the person who left you the review. So I'm going to put my name, and I'll leave this text here as the text of the review. For the image and icon, that's where we'll upload a little thumbnail here. I'll include a link to these if you want them as well, the Google material letters. I think it looks a lot nicer if you have a review and some type of thumbnail next to it. So if I'm doing a website for a client and I don't have a picture of somebody who left them a testimonial, which a lot of times I might not, I like to use these little reviews because or these little thumbnails because I think it just adds a little something extra to the testimonial, to give it, just I don't know, that little something extra, I guess. But I'll make those available too in case you want to download it. So we're going to set the image to the left, and I like to make this a little bit bigger. And to do that, we'll jump over to the Advanced tab, Custom CSS. We're going to scroll down to the Blurb image section, and we'll just set width 50, and that'll make this just slightly bigger. You can play around with it to make it whatever size you like, whatever feels comfortable. So um, let's jump back here to our background. Let's give this thing just a nice little background. Um, we'll do some padding here. I like to use 30 pixels on the top and bottom, and then on the sides I like to use percentages, but feel free to do whatever you want. If you like using fixed pixel values, totally fine. We'll give it a nice little border here, 10 pixels, and then I'll give it a box shadow. And with the box shadow, I like to just kind of blow this number all the way out, and then for the shadow color, just make it really faint. I like it to be really subtle. So we'll come down to somewhere like here, 9% opacity. So yeah, I like that. So where it's just kind of there, but it's not, distracting, I guess. So that's kind of the basic stuff for it. Now we're going to get into some CSS that's going to add in the other things like our little icons in the background, our stars. Um, and to add these stars, we have to give our module a specific class. And let me show you the CSS I used for that. I've just put it here under the page settings, but you can put this obviously in a child theme, in your style sheet for your child theme. You can put it on your Divi settings panel, the main Divi settings panel where you can put in some custom CSS. You could put it there if you wanted, if you're going to be using it throughout your site. Um, but we're going to use this custom class here of customer underscore review customer or underscore blurb, customer review blurb. And what this is saying is we're going to be targeting all of our blurb modules that have this class. We're going to look at their header right here where the name is, and we're going to create a pseudo element, the after pseudo element, and that's where our stars are going to live here. And so we're actually using the font family ET modules, and this is the icon fonts that come shipped with Divi and Extra. That way we can take advantage of things like these stars and the other icons that they have. I've given it a color of E7711B because this is the same shade of goldish, yellowish, that orangish, I guess, probably that Google uses for their reviews. So I kind of want to keep that look and feel, especially if these are reviews that maybe came from Google, since Google at this point hasn't opened up their um, business and review API to the general public yet. Um, so there's not really a good way to pull in the reviews. So anyway, um, and then our content here. And let me explain this a little bit. I'm going to jump over to this article from Elegant Themes where they break down their icon fonts that come shipped with it and the Unicodes to access those. And that's where I got these stars from. I think they're down here. Let me scroll down. Yeah. So we're using E033, and if you're not familiar with looking at these Unicodes, when you use them in CSS, you can ignore everything starting at the X and before it. So we don't need these first three characters on each of them. We just need what comes after that. So in our case, for the full stars, it's E033. If we're doing a half star, it's E032, empty star 301, or E. What did I say? E031. So for example, if I change this to E031, you'll see that all of our stars are now 4 stars and the fifth is not filled in. And if we do 2, we'll get a half star. And I've just duplicated this 5 times. This is the same thing, just in here 5 times. So if you were doing like a 10-star review, you could just keep going. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just get rid of these extra, keep it 5 stars. So yeah, this block of code you can put anywhere, because all we need is this class once we have it set somewhere. So I'll come down here and I'm going to add that class to my Blurb module. Whoops. And you'll see we now have our 5-star review there. Alright, so now let's do this icon here in the background. And we're going to do the exact same thing as the stars in terms of how we're going to get it. We're just going to do it a little bit differently. So we're going to target the before pseudo element here. And we're going to, let's find a good one here that we want to use. Let's do, let's see here. We'll do this thumbs up one like I did in the example because I like that one. So E106 is what we want, E106. So we'll do content. And then we always got to do the slash E0 or E106. And you'll see it's just got a square because it doesn't know how to display that yet. So the next thing we're going to do is font family. Whoops. ET modules. So now it says, okay, we need to load this font family and we need to use this Unicode. So now it's got the correct one in there. Now we just have to style it up. And you'll notice that it's kind of added some extra spacing in here because this element is kind of part of this design. So the next thing we want to do is give it a position of absolute so it doesn't interfere with it. Now it's kind of behind everything, and these other items fit into the Blurb module as if our little thumbs up guy's not even there, which is what we want. So then after that, let's crank it up. Let's give it a font size, whoops, of like 200 pixels. Might be a little big. Let's go to 150. Yeah, we can work with that. And then after that, let's kind of fade it in the background. So I'm going to do an opacity of 0.01. Yeah, it's kind of in there. You could even go less than that if you wanted. 0.05, I think, is what I did for these guys up here. That's kind of hard to see. Let's do 0.075. Okay, cool. That guy's there. And the other thing we're going to do after position, actually, is I'm going to do top maybe minus 20. And we'll pull it up just a little. Yeah, it might be too much. Let's leave it top 0. Top 20. Let's do top 40. There we go. Yeah, I kind of like that. We could even go maybe a little less. And I'm going to set left to 0. Yeah, he's kind of in there. But you can use the top and left and bottom and right and everything to position it however you'd like. Now that that guy's in there, I think I am going to put him up to 200 and maybe move him down a little bit. So he's kind of there. So now that we have that, there's one other thing that's really important about this. If I save this, right now it looks good on ours. However, if I save this and we reload the other page, if Divi saves it, there we go. If I reload this, you're going to notice that this guy extends outside of it, outside of the top here. But in the Visual Builder, it does not. And that's because in the Visual Builder, these elements get these items get a lot of other classes and other elements around them that make the Visual Builder work. And one of them, or what we need to do, is come back into our Blurb Advanced Custom CSS. And in our main element, we need to give this a position of relative. And that will if we save it, that will allow our overflow hidden, which are on our modules by default, to affect this icon that we've put in the back. So once this finishes saving here, probably just need to restart my computer more often or shut it down maybe once in a while. If I refresh this page now, this guy's got, it should be gone, and it should be within our little module there. Yeah, so that's kind of all there is to it. You can play around with it. You can add a lot of different background icons. Like here, you can see I've got a star, got our little thumbs up, our upside down kind of talking bubble, and the thumbs up again. And again, over here on this Elegant Themes article, I mean, you've got access to all of these icons that you can use because these come shipped with Divi. So feel free to get creative. You could probably do something cool with this key for different things, and kind of go wild. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and talk about it. Or if you have any other cool CSS hacks that you like to use for your reviews to display them, I'd love to hear them. So, all right, cool. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy designing.